that are there in Odisha. Presently, Odisha re, as I had said in my introductory session, India re Satata project achi, and out of that, around 2 projects are presently ongoing in Odisha. So the one of the projects is basically that they are providing and NABARD is providing a line of credit for rooftop solar for commercial, industrial, and residential housing sectors. And further, the next project is by UNDP, United Nations Development Program, and they are trying to create climate resilience for India's coastal communities. So, जो first project अच्छी, say thare the national designated authority is Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change. So central government ministry a project national designated authority, and जो implementing partner अच्छी जो Orissa रे actually a project implement करुची say United Nations Development Program UNDP. A project actually we spoke to UNDP and we spoke to NABARD, and आमे तांको पचारिलु कि हमको information दरकार से project रे कौन काम करूचंती and से project actually कोठी implement होउची. So a project ताकू से ओडिशा, आंध्र प्रदेश और महाराष्ट्र रे coastal belt रे implement करूचंती, and so to Odisha re, it is getting implemented in Puri, Baleswar, Kendrapada, and Ganjam, and it is expected that at least 13 lakh women will be benefiting from this project. Now, a project re kon hochi se mane the United Nations a project को start करिले before COVID basically, किंतु से project properly take off करी पारला नहीं because COVID असिला परे it became difficult for them to reach the project area, talk to the people, conduct research. So UNDP Odisha coast को study करुची. They want to understand and do a vulnerability assessment of the coast. Kete submerged areas achi and ko ecological problems achi coast pe, if there are anything related to pollution, anything related to climate change, what is the impact it is having, because Orissa has a very rich flora fauna ecosystem on its coasts. There is also a lot of commercial activity that happens in and around the coast, including commercial fishing. And so one of the things that they would like to study is exactly a present situation Konachi coastra, whether it is vulnerable to climate change, whether you are already able to see the impact of climate change on the coastal coast of Orissa, and you know, that is what they are presently. The first objective of the study is that. The next thing that they are saying is conservation and restoration of the coastal ecosystem. So once they have all the information on exactly what is the present scenario of the coasts in Orissa, they would like to submit recommendations on what is, you know, what are the steps that can be taken to restore some ecosystem which has already been damaged, and also, if there are other things that can be done to conserve what is already there. So this project is actually aligned because if you look at the Invest India objective of the government of India, so promotion of commercial activity in the coast is very much something Orissa re even food processing ko bahut promote karuchanti through various schemes and all that. So it's part of the bigger narrative of investing in India, but doing it in a manner that it happens sustainably. Now, also what they want to do is integrate climate resilient livelihoods. Now, the coasts of Orissa create livelihood for a lot of people. Do we have any participants who are presently working in any coastal areas of Orissa? If you can please tell me by show of hand. Well, we have a lot of participants working in the coastal areas of Orissa. And if I could please hear from you in the comments, and maybe I can read out those comments on what are the problems that are there with regard to coastal livelihood in Orissa, and any the problems that are being faced in the coast, and you know if there are any initiatives already that are happening on that front. So I'll wait for your comments, and meanwhile I will discuss this further. So they are also in a big way trying to create livelihood for women on the coastal belt, and they would like to start activities that make women of the coast self-sufficient. Now, India, in fact, internationally is identified as one of the countries which is most vulnerable to the impact of accelerated sea level rising. And there are also studying the frequent and intense tropical cyclones and storm surges that are happening in the coastal areas of Odisha. However, of course, based on my understanding, both Odisha and Andhra Pradesh have very, very advanced disaster management, systems, especially to manage things like cyclones and storms, and evacuation of people from low-lying areas, and assisting them with food and all of that. So Odisha is in fact a case study on disaster management in such situations. However, the point is that as the climate change happens more and more, it'll happen with more frequency, it'll happen again and again. There are predictions that the temperatures in India will rise to such a high level that in summer we may not be able to step out of our homes for a month or more. So although Odisha re disaster management already बहुत advanced अच्छी, किंतु जेबे and COVID has taught us that जेबे disaster life रो गोटे part है जाए, it becomes very tough to live with it on a daily basis. And so a project रे UNDP try करूची कि से एबे to study करीबा कि को impact होची climate ecosystem उपरे in the coasts of Orissa, and try and give people the tools and the skills to become more sustainable. And because we always think that why should I segregate my waste? For example, jebe gharara waste achi, we don't segregate wet waste and dry waste. And we say that municipality to it is taking our waste and going, and there is no segregation. Even if I segregate and throw it, they are just taking everything and going, and it will not get segregated there. So why should I do that much? But the point is that every single outreach, every single effort, every single person joining an effort does make an impact. And I know I'm talking to an audience which understands the importance of that. So what they're trying to do is, although there are already predictions that show that India is very, very vulnerable to coastal impact on coasts owing to climate change, it's still possible for us to participate in these initiatives and sort of reverse the damage that has happened to our coasts already. Now, the next thing that they're trying to do is strengthen climate governance and institutional frameworks. So, basically, what they're trying to do here is also work with the government, local panchayats, local level government frameworks, and try to strengthen them, roll out programs through them to implement this. Implement ecosystem-based adaptation into public-private sector policies, and scaling up finance for the project. So these are some of the things that are happening. These are the key objectives of the UNDP project in Orissa. Now, the central government ministry has presently suggested partnership of UNDP with National Center for Sustainable Coastal Management for conducting the vulnerability assessment. Presently, after COVID, they've not been able to do the vulnerability assessment, and so that is where it is stuck at. So at the national level, they actually first submit, an agency was appointed to carry out the vulnerability assessment. After review of the methodology and inception report, it was decided that UNDP needs to get a new agency to conduct the vulnerability assessment. And presently, they have suggested partnership with National Center on Sustainable Coastal Management. Now, if the people who have joined the training have worked with an NCSCM before, we would recommend that you reach out to them. And if there is in any way that you can collaborate with them to help them conduct the vulnerability assessment, you have access to the, ground level and are able to help them in collecting data or any other activity, I think that would really help to get this project kick-started. Now, in relation to conservation and restoration of coastal ecosystem, they are in the final stage of delineating the entire project, and basically they are doing field level research right now for selecting potential sites for restoration of mangroves with the help of the divisional forest officers and the Forest Environment and Climate Change Department of the government of Orissa. Now, in relation to developing climate resilient livelihoods and enterprises, they're trying to create value chains. Now, according to one of the participants, I've heard this a lot from local people as well, that whenever cyclones hit, whenever there are surge storms, basically you lose a lot of forest cover, you lose a lot of green cover, and then tree plantation needs to happen again to restore that. And it needs to happen in a manner that those trees actually fructify and reach, sort of a adulthood phase. So as Peace Bell social organization is pointing out, several trees fell, but there was no more planting of trees. And even if they were planted, they died because they were not really taken care of. I think in these kind of initiatives, it's also important for people to know what are the trees that can be planted, which will survive very naturally in that area. And then again, the involvement of local CSOs, local people who have understanding of what trees naturally grow in that area becomes very important. If you are aware of UNDP officials who are working on the Odisha project, you may also contact them and suggest to them that this is something that is very much necessary for undertaking climate resilient and restoration activities in the coastal areas. Now, presently, they are looking at interventions for oyster farming, mussel farming, ornamental fishery, restoration of mangroves, watershed, seagrass. A lot of this work has been delayed due to the pandemic. We've been told that consultations have already been held with the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Animal Husbandry. It's been held with OUAT, which is the Orissa University of Agriculture and Technology, Central Institute of Freshwater Aquaculture, and Chilika Development Authority are also involved in the Climate Resilience Through Livelihood and Enterprises project. So these are some of the local touch points where you can reach out to participate in increasing the access of this project and providing your base support, providing your access support on these projects. Now, additionally, they have already developed communication and outreach program to create awareness for learning and adopting sustainable livelihoods, empowering women and vulnerable communities. Now the outreach plan is still not rolled out. And so anyone who has, the possibility of actually implementing this project in their areas may in fact reach out to UNDP or all these local organizations, OUAT, CIFA, Chilika Development Authority. Check with them on who is the UNDP contact person. In fact, you will also be told how to find projects. And so you can reach out to the contact persons and tell them that you have the bandwidth to implement these projects and you would like to implement these projects for them. So next part of this project is the next part of this project is identifying existing schemes and programs, you know, that have the, which need to be, which can be revived, which can be improved to meet the objectives of the project. So for this purpose, they also want to conduct field level activities and workshops. They are also building a dedicated website for the project, and they have started work on the mangroves part in Maharashtra, but it is yet to begin in Orissa. This is all the information in relation to what is the status of this the projects in Orissa. There has been a lot of delay in the implementation of this project due to COVID-19, but now and hopefully that the pandemic does not bounce back, despite the news that we received from China that it is presently spreading far in China. So there is a lot of scope for local CSO participation in the UNDP project, because because it's still in the nascent stage, it could not